What I learned today. Today I went and saw my therapist. I see a psychiatrist probably once every 2 to 3 months to kind of check in and update my medication. And I was so happy because this particular visit we decided to cut out one of my medications and start lowering my other ones. And I'm very happy about that because it means that I'm learning new skills to deal with the issues that I had that were being helped by medication. So I'm very happy about that. I am. Being on less medication is just going to make my life better. So that was the good news today. But what did I learn today? Well, I went with the question, what is an adult? Because that's what I'm struggling with this particular point in my life. I'm struggling with, what does it mean to be an adult? I'm an adult of legal age, as they say. There's particular points where the government, or society at least, has arbitrarily chosen that at the age of 18 or 21, depending where you live, you are now the age of majority. You can vote, you can drink, you can do all those legal things without any kind of impediment by the government necessarily. I guess if that's what makes you an adult, but I'll tell you this much, you don't go to bed on the night before your 21st birthday and wake up the next day being an adult. I'll tell you that right now. Adult is like using soon or later to define a time period. It's nebulous at best. So what is it that makes us adults? Well, I can understand teenagers. We're no longer a teenager once our age no longer ends in teen. That's pretty obvious. And a young adult, we call our early 20s young adults. Once you reach about 23, 25, they no longer call you a young adult, they just call you an adult. So does that mean that there's a particular point between your 23rd and 25th year that you'll wake up one day and go, oh my God, I'm a fucking adult? Because it hasn't happened for me yet. I'm starting to think that it might never. I don't have kids. I don't intend to have kids. But should I have kids, maybe that's when I'll be an adult. Maybe you're only ever an adult when you're compared to someone who is not an adult. You see, I grew up with a military family, so everyone was sir and ma'am for the longest time when I was growing up. And it kind of put in my mind the others. Basically, others were adults, but not me. Now that's carried on into, my quote-unquote adult years, because, the sir and ma'am was always a symbol of respect, but now when I think of myself, I'm in my 30s. Why the fuck don't I see myself as an adult yet? I'm wondering if it does have to do with having kids. I know I'm a mature individual. I pay bills and taxes and insurance and, take care of my responsibilities, the things that are expected of me in society. So I'm sure outside of my own mind, I'm an adult. Someone else would describe me as an adult. I don't know if I could describe myself as that. I really don't. I own property. I don't have a mortgage. How much more adult could you be? But I don't feel like I'm an adult at all. Unfortunately, I also look around at different people in society. I don't think they're adults either. I've always thought of adulthood as some kind of time in your life where you take personal responsibility. But personal responsibility is slowly being stripped away from us by having all these, safety, everything. I mean, it would be easier if they just passed a law saying you can't sue someone if you use a product in a way that you hurt yourself. Because if it's not the intended use of the product and you hurt yourself, you fucking deserved it. Now, I'm not talking about that old lady who got burned from the coffee, because that was legit. I know a lot of people remember it as being such a bullshit thing, but it was legit. She was a senior citizen. That particular McDonald's had been warned about their coffee being too high before. It was a genuine reason to sue a company. All right, but now it's used as the poster child for frivolous suing, which is kind of ironic since it wasn't. Anyway, what I see is that people no longer want to take responsibility for themselves. Okay, so whenever there's a person who injures themselves using a product, I mean, there's a reason why hair dryers have do not use in shower, do not sleep with, do not dry hair while sleeping. Pardon me? Like, why are these things have to be on every product? Well, it's because sometimes people sue them if they try to, do people sit down with a product and go, what are the different ways that I could use this that it's not intended to be, but then if I hurt myself, I can sue them and get lots of money. I wish there was a noise for shaking my head sometimes because, otherwise I just have a lot of silence on my recording because I'm just shaking my head. People don't want to take responsibility for themselves, and it's not just that. It's, a lot of things. As simple as once you reach probably about 13, once you're considered an honest-to-God teenager, if you haven't learned by then that you don't run out into traffic, I'm sorry, there's no helping you. If you can't take enough responsibility to know that massive object there will squish you flat, or at least injure you, and you need to avoid the giant metal dragons, then I'm sorry. It's time the world took you out. That's the thing. We are catering to our lowest common denominator when we try to make products safe for everyone. But, we worry about our kids. We don't want our kids to be injured. We don't want our kids to be hurt. Fine, while they're kids. But once they're adults, maybe a little injury would make them understand consequence. In fact, I think that is probably the marker of being an adult. Understanding consequence. That responsibility that we take unto ourselves, that we understand that particular actions have particular consequences, and making the whole world bubble wrapped and rubber padded is not going to make us any safer if we cannot conceptualize the fact that our actions have consequences. What do you think? Leave your comments below. I'm Moggy. It's a sick, sad world. Cheers.